Okay, this is the 71 GTO that we've been working on. For a customer, LS swap. We got an LQ9 in there, LQ4, excuse me, and had the motor run. It's a used LQ4. Had the motor running. We put a different oil pan on there for the low profile, set up underneath so the oil pan don't get knocked off by something. And it wasn't making very good oil pressure, so we had to pull the motor out and just to see what was going on. And the best way to get the pan out, because the pan's right on top of the cross member here, so is to just pull the motor out. And it's pretty. I had this core support out and everything before, so I was able to pull it out real quick and easy. Fix the oil pan or the oil pressure problem was the O-ring got pink stuff maybe, or wasn't in there good or something. So we put another O-ring on there on the pickup tube, put it back in. Got it all back together, put everything back in, and it's ready to go. I was just about ready to fly it back up, and the customer decided he's gonna put a stage 2 low lift Texas speed cam in it. Some new springs and some new seals on the valves. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So that's what we're doing right now. I already got one side of the rockers off. I'm going to take this side off. We're going to get some of this AC bracket disconnected from the water pump. Pull the water pump off and pull the pulley back off, get the timing cover off, and we should be able to pull the cam out without having to get the heads out. I'm just going to turn the motor and get everything up. Swap the cam out. When we get the cam in there, we'll probably go ahead and pull the plugs. I got plugs running right back in and everything, so we'll pull the plugs and we'll do the seals for the valves while we got the rockers off. So that's what we're doing right now. We got gloves back on here, the gloves. And I'll keep going here on the rockers. Like I said, I already got all the bolts loose on the valve side. So we're just going to pick these out. The whole tray and all. Same side of the valve covers. This motor was running good. It was in a 2005 Suburban. Guy was from Virginia, West Virginia, I can't remember, but he was trying to get back to Texas. And he brought me a tool drive auger steer, which is also on my channel. If you want to go check that out, that's where this motor came from. But it was 2-wheel drive and he wanted 4-wheel drive. He thought his frame was getting rusted out. It really wasn't. He bought a donor Suburban with a 4-wheel drive set up on it. We're going to pull the push rods out too, so we can kind of built everything out of the way. Nothing on top of the lifters to push them down once we start pulling the thing out. What we're really wanting to do, the hope here is, and I've got some little holders. I don't know how good they are. I've tried them a couple of times and it seems like they don't hold very good. We'll stick in, well maybe, we may not, I don't know. I think you gotta figure oil pump to do that. We may just try to do it without doing that. Worst case, lifter drops down. I might be able to stick a small magnet gun in there and pull it back up if it don't fall all the way through. But I've done a lot of these and I've never had one fall down in there. So hopefully this one won't either, but you never know. Put these adapters in for the top side AC because you don't have run down here. And honestly, this one probably would have had run. Really and truly. Yeah, we'll make them back. I'm going to get all that out of the way. Right there. And I just put new gaskets on the it's iron block. LQ4 is an iron block, so and it had around 200,000. So it had a little bit of pitting, so we used paper gaskets and silicone, and when they get like that, they'll seal them off. So this is going to be stuck on there. Pretty good. I'll make sure nothing else is bracket is holding. It's not. I'm just going to have to pry it off there. It's just like I said, I got to clean all that off again. It's not that big a deal, but you know, it's just more stuff. This is the third time this water pump will be off and on. So, off with that guy. Let me get my if you don't have one of these for your crank bolts, they help a lot, and obviously a good impact works good. I've gone to Harbor Freight stuff because I'm tired of replacing DeWalt, Snap-on, Milwaukee stuff. They just, you know, they're expensive, and this stuff is pretty cheap. So I've been trying it now. I've had this one now for probably about a year, and it's pretty good. I like it. So, I'm gonna get my puller. These are a dime a dozen on Amazon, but I can tell you right now, not all of them are created equal. I buy OEM because I never have much problem with those. Oh, my daughter woke up. I'm going to have to pause here for just a second and go check on her. But anyway, yeah, the OEM stuff is just always been a lot better to me. So let's see if she'll wait till I get this off, and then we'll go take care of her. Maybe one of her brothers will go visit with her for a bit. But yeah, the cheap ones are bad about breaking the ears off, not grabbing correctly behind here. And OEM's not expensive. It's just being a better. It's just a better tool. But the best way to do these, if you haven't ever done one, is to just get your hand on two of the ears and your finger on the top one and just tighten them until you get your hand tight and you can't tighten no more and they're not popping off there. And then voila, she's off. Just gonna set that right there. We're done with this. There's a lot of stuff out there that'll tell you not to impact those off the crankshaft and all kinds of stuff. Use a torque wrench, breaker ball, all kinds of crazy setups to deal with getting those bolts off and putting them back on your crankshaft bolts. And they're torque to yield bolts. And honestly, I couldn't even guess how many of these I've done, but I've always done them with an impact. I've always just tightened them back up with my big impact, and I've never had any problems with anything. So, and I guarantee you, that's probably, I would say over 100 of them I've probably taken on and off, so, and I've never had a problem with it. So yeah, you don't want to do anything while you're doing all this to mess up the nose here on the crankshaft. You're dealing with problems. Trying to get it back on, so make sure you don't ding on that. Second time this has been on too. It was actually off in my shop for quite a while. Before he bought it. And then we put new seal in it and all that stuff, so I don't know, I'm gonna have to get a new gasket here before it's said and done here. It's just an old LQ4. It's seen some mileage, that's for sure. Maybe I didn't replace that gasket. We'll get a new one for that. Clean all this up when we're done right here. So yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of guys that tell you, get your stuff all top dead center and all that good stuff, and I agree. It's a good thing to do. Get everything lined back up. If you don't know Chevys, and it's your first time doing them, they are extremely simple to deal with. been relatively the same basic design for 25, probably almost 75 years now. They have pretty much been center camshaft, push rod engines, and even the Gen 5s are this way. This is Gen 3 right here. But they're pretty easy to work on. They're pretty easy to hot rod, all kinds of easy things with these motors. So I got the spark plugs in, so I'm going to take those out. I think I need to take them out anyway, just because I think I'll be able to get to the got long tube headers on here. I don't know where he got them, but I don't like them. Because over here on Sparkle 3, you can't even hardly get into it at all. Because the header pop is right in front of the spark plug. So I don't like whatever. I'm going to have to ask him because I definitely don't want to be buying those for anything else I do. A little bit frustrating. Oh well. Good thing is that it's not like I don't have room to get to them, so I think we'll just try to get to them without worrying about anything else. So this was a I hate when I do that. Hopefully it worked that one. One thing I hate about Milwaukee ratchets is if you accidentally push that thing, you can lock it, but if you accidentally hit it, it's going. It's still a button like snap on and some of the others. Anyway, back to the build. This thing is, there's more videos about this on my channel also. Started out, we're just going to put this LS motor in there in 480. Then it turned into, well, I need some new cab mounts on that thing probably. So he asked me to put cab mounts on there. And, you got to take the body off the frame. This is a frame. Body frame car. And I had the old Pontiac motor and transmission out. There was nothing in the engine bay at all. So I was like, well, why don't I just take it off? You want me to treat the frame and put a coat of enamel on there? It won't be that much longer to do that. body off. And ooh, I think I just okay, just smoked the old Milwaukee. That is a shame, but I'm gonna tell you something about my Milwaukee tools. This is the third ratchet I've had, but for 89 bucks or 99, I don't remember how much they are. You know, I've had this one now for 2 years. For the price, to me, it's worth, you know, just replacing it after you use them up. And this one's pretty used up. So, and I just let the smoke out of the motor, so it's done. So we're going to move on to something else here to get those out of it. Unfortunately, hopefully I can do that. A little bit more about Milwaukee tools. You know, I've had Snap-on, Mac, Matco, a lot of different brands of power tools. And, you know, my buddies have a lot of different brands. I've used them all, basically. I think I can put this. That's going to be good for now. But basically, about, I don't know, almost 10 years ago, I decided to try Milwaukee power tools for mechanicing. And I also did, you know, I did some construction work too and all that stuff. So I've been using them in construction already. And so I bought at the time, I don't know, $300 M12 set of tools. It had a 1/4-inch impact, a drill, a 1/2-inch drill, 2 big batteries, or 2 small batteries, 1 big battery. And I use those to help build a buddy of mine's house, a barndominium, and a bunch of other things. I use them for mechanicing all the time too. But I still have all of them except for the ratchets. I bought the ratchets separately. And the first ratchet lasted a couple, 3 years. The second one I bought lasted about the same. And this one's been about the same. But they're $99, they're cheap, easy to deal with, so. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to leave that spark plug in that one hole. I have to bring the camera over here and show you. This is so frustrating. And I tried to bend the header enough to smash it down a little bit to make it a little bit more accessible, and that helped. But it surely didn't make it, it didn't correct it. So if you look right here, right up in there, you can't hardly see. Yeah, maybe you can. I don't know, maybe I should get some light here. So you can see. But look at that. That spark plug is just almost touching the header. So I smashed it right here to try to get some more clearance. But that tube goes right frickin' in front of that spark plug. So that one's going to stay in there because I don't feel like taking the header off, so we're just going to fight the compression on that one cylinder. Or I might try to get a wrench up underneath there. Yeah, I'll probably get a wrench up underneath there. Yeah, I bet I can. So we'll get a wrench and try to get that off maybe. Maybe I can do that. Let's try that. I'm going to put this back in the tripod while we're doing that. it's not. Oh yeah, okay. Well, maybe I'll try to mess with it some more when I get it off there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Pull that thing off. Unfortunately, I don't have my electric ratchet, so we're gonna have to wrench a few of these. I don't know, maybe we get my one down there. Just move that pin out of the impact. So now that that ratchet has died, I'm probably going to go try some Harbor Freight stuff. Just because I'm just trying to find something more inexpensive. They all break. I mean, I've broken as many, not all ones as I have cheap ones. That was the reason why I went to cheap ones. So. Ain't happening. Okay, we're gonna ratchet bridge it one out there. Ratchet wrench, and we'll pull this one off there. I just hate the way that one through this is so frustrating. I'm trying to mess with the probably better off than me. I hate to take the wrap off. I've got some carbon wrap on here to help with the heat and the noise inside the belly or the engine belly. So that's going to be beneficial there, and also if you can burn your hand out. Okay, now we can put that off. With this is my first LS swap into an A body. Oddly enough, I've done a lot of Gen 2 big block stuff into A bodies. New, replace everything, new motor mount, chassis, I've helped on a couple. One almost identical to this at my other show. And so I've been a little bit of trial and error trying to make everything fit. So if you're interested in how all that worked out, go check out the rest of my videos on the GTO, 71 GTO. I'll kind of show you how we did all that. Okay, we got all the spark plugs out. Now I need my 24 and my ratchet back. Again, if you're not familiar, this is your first time trying to do something like this, these are really simple motors. You got a mark on the camshaft gear on a Gen 3 right here. You got them on Gen 4s, you got them on Gen 5s. It's just you got a cam phaser here on a Gen 4 and a Gen 5, unless you delete them. So for the variable valve timing. So this is the first LS based motor. It's a truck motor, obviously from this building. And you got a little arrow right here, and then you got a dot down here on the crankshaft here. So you're just going to line those up. Okay, you may have to rotate it more than once, but we got that one all the way there. And there's a dot It's kind of hard to see sometimes, but it's there. You can see it. It's behind the oil pump, and you can see it right there. So that's where I always start when I do these. It just makes it easier to kind of know where you're at on the crank and all that good stuff. So once we get that right there, and we've rotated the camshaft, oh yeah, I am going to try my rods. Hold those lifters. This chain don't matter where it's at. It's not a marked chain, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. And you got the retainer plate. You need to replace this when you pull these off. I've put them in there, back in there on hot rod motors and stuff like that, just because I'm not scared of low oil pressure. But this little gasket right here you can't even feel it at all. But that's just something you don't want to put back on there if you're going to run it and be a daily driver. So we're going to get rid of that. I think I usually keep those in my shop new, so hopefully I have some of those. If I don't, I'll have to order some more of those. So yeah, I've got some rods that go in these oiling passages right here for the lifters that are supposed to help hold the lifters and keep them from falling down. So first I'm going to rotate the camshaft and try to get all the lifters pushed up so that they're up and out of the way. And you can just twist this thing until you don't feel them pushing any more lifters up. And rotate it clockwise. The motor turns clockwise. Ain't gonna hurt if you do it counterclockwise, but I just do everything clockwise. So that don't feel like there's anything else left in there. So we're gonna go get. These are homemade, so you can buy these on Amazon. Way back in the day, I was experimenting with something, I don't remember what, and decided just to try to use, I think this is brake line as a matter of fact. I don't even feel like that's holding nothing, so it probably ain't doing anything. So hopefully nothing falls out. Oh, that feels like that went up against something. So there's some rods that are the specific exact diameter that go in there that will hold those lifters in place, and then you can pull this out without worrying about them falling down in there. The trays will hold those lifters. I've never had them fall, so hopefully this ain't my first one. Let me grab something there. And that ain't working, so we're going to grab a little bolt right quick. Just to kind of pull on it a little bit. The 6-liter Chevys Gen 3s are pretty bad about pushing camshaft bearings out. So you kind of want to be careful here. You don't grab one that's going to pull out accidentally while you're pulling this thing out. I've got it out. Oh, there we go. pretty good looking camshaft actually. And honestly, rarely do these things go bad unless you got other problems going on. So that's a good camshaft for a budget deal, displacement on demand, delete. You can use that. We'll look down in here, just make sure we got good bearings. Oh yeah, lots of good bearings in there. Yeah, you see all the rollers on the lifters, where they're at. So they're all still there. So we're gonna grab some assembly lube, get some latex gloves on for a second. Let me do that. And again, you know, there's some OCD people, mechanics out there that'll tell you to do enough things a lot of different ways. So I would encourage you to do your own research and figure out, you know, what you think is best. But I've been doing this a long time. I've swapped like I said, a bunch of cams, replaced cams, you know, that were bad. DOD deletes. So, you know, I don't think there's anything, you know, to be afraid of if you are mechanically inclined. Let me get some assembly lube. So, Lucas assembly lube, people use oil, people use white lithium, all kinds of different stuff, but basically all I do is cam specs. Those are good to have for tuning. This camshaft, as it states too, it's a low lift. I don't think it's going to be, you know, anything that has to have a whole lot of tuning. Sometimes we're gonna start off with the LQ4 stock file on this one, so it'll probably be fine, you know. It'll probably run just fine with just the stock tune a little bit. I don't know if this thing has been open. So if it runs okay with that, this cam's not supposed to need a cam or a stall converter. So we got a factory converter in there still. The transmission is also the two-wheel drive transmission out of the Quad Street Suburban. It's probably 485 in my gas. It's 2005. So we're going to put just a drop of this assembly lube on each load in the journal. And then I'm just going to do this on each one. Uh-oh. Somebody's calling me now. Phone my wife. Oh, because I got the doors closed right now. This is going to have to call back. I got too much stuff in my hands at the moment, so we're going to do this first. Okay? It's all lubed up. And going back in, the camshaft bearings look excellent on this old LQ4, so we're going to not worry about those at all. And we're just going to find the drones real nice and easy each time we get to that point. So it works its way past. And we're going to get down to the very last one. And grab, take these off, maybe that right there. That right there. Get my screwdriver. Wherever I put that. Yeah, I'm bad about that stuff too. We're just going to keep going right here. So that's all the way. Yeah. Voila. So we're in there. Now, probably rotate it a little bit in there just to get that move on the bearings a little bit. Yeah, that's all good. And we're going to go look for some camshaft retainer plate. Hopefully I've got one. And get some stuff some scotch pad to clean up the surfaces here. We'll put the retainer plate on, put the gear back on, time it back up, and pull the rods out because we're done with that. And then we'll go from there. But for now, I got to go check on my wife and my kids. So we'll talk at y'all later.